Welcome to the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. This is your number one crypto podcast to hear directly from the movers and shakers, innovators, and disruptors in the cryptocurrency industry. Follow on Twitter for updates and to communicate directly at Woof Big Dawg. That's at Woof Big DAWG. Now, here is your host, the one and only Big Dawg Crypto.
And welcome to the latest episode of the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. I'm your host, Big Dawg Crypto. And this is a very special episode because this is probably one of my absolute favorite accounts on crypto Twitter. Very, very interesting. And I would be surprised. I don't know if I was ever going to get this guy on, but he's here. The Crypto Monk. How are you doing?
Hey, mate. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Yeah,
How about
appreciate
you?
I'm doing good. You know, just kind of looking at the stuff right now. I mean, talk about a time to have you on. I mean, obviously we have all the stuff going on with the, FTX situation and the exchanges and stuff, and what Bitcoin is. Let's just dive right into that. Let's get into the controversy. I mean, what are your thoughts on this whole thing with the FTX and the whole situation?
Well, I mean, it's been a tough year for crypto overall. I mean, if we look at what happened over the past year, it's been insane, absolutely insane. I mean, we've been in the downtrend for an entire year now,
Right.
but I totally didn't expect all this sequence of events to happen. So, yeah, I mean, first we had the Luna collapse, which literally snowballed and contagion funds like FreeAC. That was back in May, June, and this was already insane. I mean, it pushed down Bitcoin to 17K, if I recall correctly.
Right.
I mean, a couple months before we were at the top, we were at 69K. So that was a pretty rough collapse. And then a couple months after that, when you think that the worst is over, well, you have the FTX fraud collapse, FTX fraud exposed, and that literally propels the market back down to 15K 900, something like that. That was insane. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that the market is doing so well in a way, because if you had told me a year ago that all these events would happen, honestly, I would probably have told you that first of all, you are insane, and that, I don't know, crypto Bitcoin would be trading around 10K or even lower, because that's crazy. I mean, FTX was one of the biggest exchanges. We lost a shit ton of liquidity, not just because of the collapse, but obviously because the market is slowing down for multiple macro reasons. But I think we're going to dive into that a bit later. But yeah, this is insane. I mean, I'm glad that finally justice is going to be served. Hopefully, we'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, we kind of all lost some money into this. I mean, fortunately, I managed to save a portion of my funds, but I didn't manage to save everything. I was stupid enough to keep some money on FTX. So yeah.
Well,
but,
I mean,
that happens.
I would say a lot of people did, though, something to that extent. But you said one of your tweets where you said, "Pretty sure I would have expected worse," talking about the market doing all right compared to what happened. Someone told you last year that multiple large players would collapse. It's a span of 6 months, right? I mean, and you're so right about that, because you've been in the space a while. I mean, I think this would have dropped Bitcoin to like $3,000. You know, it was like a few years ago, right? Like, there's no way we'd be sitting at basically above the all-time high of 17 right now, which is crazy.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. No, it's been a crazy year, honestly. Like, I mean, we were all. I mean, it was bound to happen. I mean, we couldn't just like go up infinitely without retracing, but lots of people got lured by the confidence of large players such as Sue and Kyle. You know, I mean, some of us thought that this time was different. Actually, it wasn't at all.
Sure.
But well, I mean, it's the cycle. It's going to be a complicated time. I think that 2023 might be a really boring year. If I have to give my personal opinion about the market lows, I would say that crypto wise, but again, this is just my opinion, I think that we've probably seen the lows.
Okay.
Speaking about Bitcoin, especially, I think we might have seen the lows. That's just my opinion. But I don't expect 2023 to be a banger of a year. I think that we're going to go sideways for a bit. It might be really, really boring with low volatility, because I don't really expect this bear market to be exactly the same as the previous ones, where we have lots of extremely where we have basically some bounces with lots of momentum and stuff like that. I think it's going to be more boring than that, and we're probably going to be forced to trade low volume halts to get some volatility. I mean, that's my expectation for 2023, because macro wise, that's what matters the most still. Well, I mean, we saw a couple of days ago that they were still hiking the interest rates, which was expected, obviously. But until the inflation is tamed, they're not going to stop, and I think it's going to last for the entirety of 2023. So, I mean, market-wise, it's definitely going to impact the crypto market. And I think that we're going to stay within a range that might be tighter than the one we're currently in. And it's going to be extremely boring. Lots of players are going to quit, even though it's probably not the best time to quit. It's probably the best time to stay around and start staking. I mean, you need to grind and find a way to make money, to invest a portion into this market and be there for the next rise. So yeah, I expect 2023 to be probably the most impactful year accumulation wise.
Right.
And yeah, I hope that people who have some conviction will stay around and benefit from this, because this is going to be a great opportunity to start accumulating again and profit from the next run that could be insane again.
Well, so that brings up the question. I mean, we all hear this all the time, right? Win all season. And so when we look back, and we have always had, we say the big ones, right, and the mini ones. And of course, people think about late 17, they think about late 21, and you look at the halving, right, coming up in April of 2024. Do you subscribe to that theory, or do you look at that? I think a lot of people do. Maybe some do, some don't. But do you think, if we're just looking at possibilities, that once Bitcoin does the halving, then in the next year we see, you know what I mean? Like we see that the bull run everyone's waiting for. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so even without looking at the halving date and whatever, my gut feeling, well, that's my gut feeling again, is that 2024 is going to be the year of the big rise. Well, not the beginning of 2024, I expect around the summer. That's just a gut feeling. And also, well, I mean, but for that to happen, I think that inflation should be tamed by then. And also employment rate shouldn't collapse completely. So we don't enter into a long recession. Right. I'm not sure this is going to happen. So hopefully 2024 might be the year for crypto to rise again. So yeah, that's also why I'm quite confident that 2023 is going to be the year to stack and accumulate and stay around and stick to it. If you want to quit, it's probably not the best time to do it right now. You should have done it probably a year ago or 6 months ago, but definitely not now. Like people that are looking, it's definitely not the right time to start looking for shorts and sell your crypto on spot at least. I mean, it's definitely the time to start doing the opposite. So yeah, I think that 2024 might be the year. I agree with this take, but even without looking at the halving, actually, I was just like, it's a gut feeling I have, and also because I think that by then, the Fed and also the European Central Bank will have probably managed to keep the inflation under control, and hopefully, if the data remains, we might be able to have a fair run by then.
So would you want to go ahead and maybe predict or ballpark an all-time high for Bitcoin, let's say between the halving and 12 months after?
Price prediction.
Yeah, and I only ask because, like for instance, so last year, right, on the podcast. Yeah,
I'm really bad at predicting the lows and the highs, but I think it's going to trade above 100K for Bitcoin.
Okay, that was my next. Do you think it'll hit 100,000? Okay, I was wondering that. Okay, so you think it could?
Yeah, definitely. I think that Ethereum is going to reach probably 10, 15K around these levels. But again, I mean, it's not going to be life-changing for most people. But we're going to have another round of altcoins popping left and right, and with lower liquidity, where people might be able to make life-changing money again. It's just going to be another cycle. I mean, at the end of the last bear market, lots of people didn't expect crypto to have another crazy bull run and another crazy alt season. But look at what we had. I mean, if you look at Solana, it was trading below $1, and it reached at the top around 250, if I recall correctly. So yeah, we're definitely going to have another run of shit coins, probably propelled and powered by VCs. So,
but you ever think about it? People always like, it's not going to happen. Like, you ever notice in crypto, this can't happen? Yes, it can happen. This can't happen.
Honestly, after it was quite brutal. The last bear market was quite brutal, and I mean, I didn't expect to have such a run in altcoins. I mean, I was doubtful too. And it's normal after a rough bear market. You don't expect things to pop right and left. I mean, it was also conditioned by the pandemic and the monetary policies. Money being printed. We just respected the laws of the crypto market. It was even more insane than the previous one. When you see the amount of projects that popped and brought some 1000x. Some, if you look at Shiba Inu, I think this one was insane. This run was absolutely crazy, insane.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting because when you look at that, and of course, people will go to exchanges or Uni or PancakeSwap to buy their alts. And another one of your tweets where you talk about the same media that tried to paint SBF as a kid with good intentions of trashing Binance. And I remember watching like with FTX last year, when they did like the Super Bowl ad and they sponsored the Miami Arena. I remember thinking the Super Bowl ad is like $1 million minimum, right? $1 or $2 million for that. And it's like they were spending money like somebody that either had it, right, or was just like wasting it. And I'm like, this is like, so something to me was a little bit of like maybe wonder. But Binance, for instance, is considered the biggest exchange, extremely safe. I said, CZ came up first podcast. I'm eternally grateful he made the time to do that. Anybody that, like I always say, the most important thing you have is worth more than money is your time. Right? You can't buy that. So when you give time to somebody, like you're giving them, the biggest thing. But, any exchange from Binance to all the other small ones down, what are your thoughts about, I'm going to say, keeping coins on exchanges, right? Because let's be honest, a lot of people go, take everything off exchanges. Well, if you do that, you can't trade it all, right? So John D. Trader that just starts in, right? Let's say he's got $1,000. He wants to buy some Bitcoin, trade some all. We'll use that number. What percentage would you say, hey, keep this on the, and not say, but like kind of suggest, you follow what I'm saying? Like, because you're going to keep some, right? But then you might buy some Bitcoin, Ethereum, and put on the side. What would you tell somebody just as maybe a ratio of that as a thought?
I mean, it's definitely not a safe way. I know lots of people who used to keep all their funds on exchanges. It's absolutely stupid. I mean, I've never done that. At some point during last cycle, I might have kept until I would say 50% of my folio on an exchange, which is also absurdly high in my opinion. But well, it's definitely comfier to have your funds ready to get traded, especially when it's a bull run and you need to act really quickly to buy and sell. I would say that you should probably keep your funds. I mean, the percentage should be probably below 30%. Nowadays, it's quite easy and quick to transfer funds fast. So yeah, it shouldn't be too high because I mean, we've seen what happened lately. Even though I think that Binance, for instance, I think they're definitely solvent. There have been lots of FUD around them, but I think they're quite safe. I don't expect them to collapse. This is mostly this was propelled by people that were a bit too emotional about about FTX collapse, and I mean this is quite normal. But also lots of grifters that wanted to get some engagement by baiting people into some bullshit conspiracies and stuff like that. But other than that, I would say that it's better to keep most of your funds off exchanges, obviously, and take custody of them. But yeah, I would say just keep what you're comfy to lose, basically, because you could also get hacked. I mean, sometimes it's not just the exchange fault. It might be your fault if one of your devices gets compromised, and I mean, and some hacker manages to withdraw your funds. It's your responsibility. but the less you have on the exchange, the less you lose. So it's always about it's always about being comfy of losing some funds that are left there. Obviously, it's easier said than done, because when you have lots of money, I mean, many people lost 7-8 figures with FTX. Mm-hmm. People lost it all, literally, and they were millionaires. I mean, paper millionaires, but they were. Right. So yeah, just definitely don't keep it all on an exchange, and try to stay below 40-30%. That way, if you lose it, I mean, you're going to feel it, but we'll still have some money.
You still have capital left,
yeah, to make it all back in one trade. So
I agree with you on that, and I think a lot of people, even exchange heads, will say, "Hey, be careful, watch what you do and stuff." And so I think people realize that. Mainly keep what you. Like, I always say, like, what you absolutely need, right? Like if you're okay losing it, right, then you can, or you're willing to take a risk. But that being said, the problem, I guess, with the FTX thing was not only did it obviously do damage and people lost a lot of money, and all of that is very horrible. The other thing too is, I watched my dad, who was so pro crypto. It's funny because my dad loves crypto. He loves the concept behind it, the thought behind it. He has some, but then he calls me because he's watching, the mainstream news. He says, "Son," he says, I saw a crypto collapse. It's like, no. He said crypto exit scan. I'm like, it didn't exit scan. It was one exchange. And I think, we've been in the industry for a while. It kind of sets it back. And I think that's kind of frustrating, right? Because it sets back a lot of progress we made amongst the people that are non-coiners, right? That are starting like, okay, I might want to learn about it. They're like, whoa.
No, this is really bad publicity for the crypto industry, definitely. I mean, even though that was purely corruption from FTX team, but this is definitely bad publicity. I mean, we had some controversies during the bull market because, I mean, crypto was polluting the planet or whatever, and proof of work wasn't efficient enough. So yeah, we had any type of food coming out of different type of people, and now with this collapse, definitely you're going to, like, they gave some extra ammo to the haters to bring us down, basically. But I mean, this is not gonna stop the movement.
Right.
It's too late for that. It's too late. They should have done it a few years ago. Now it's too late. We're definitely going to make it. But well, I'm not sure if it sets us back a few years backwards. I would say that it's definitely going to take time for people and average Joes to regain some trust into the space, but they don't matter that much. They're not going to matter that much for 2023 and even for the first leg up. These people usually join a little bit later during the bull run, so it's not going to be a big hurdle, I think. I mean, if you lost complete trust in this industry, you didn't understand it to begin with, so that's not a problem.
I agree with you on that. Absolutely do. Well, so the space in general. So you look at crypto. We're in 2022 now. It was 2023. Do you remember where you were the first time you heard about Bitcoin? Like what you were doing, and the first time somebody talked to you about it, what you thought about it?
Yeah. Okay. So the first time, the actual first time, it's always a funny story. It's not the first time I tell about it. So the first time, it was my mom who told me about crypto in 2013, which might sound crazy because my mom is not a tech girl at all. She's, she can barely use a tablet, she can barely use her phone, but she was, she subscribed to that weird, like, I would say, like, weird natural magazine. That was a magazine that was basically talking a lot about different type of economies, cypherpunk ideas and stuff like that. I was not into that at all. And one day she told me about that. I remember she read a piece of article to me. And the thing is, they were also promoting some weird scam alongside Bitcoin. I mean, that was probably the first time I heard about Bitcoin, but then they were also chilling a Ponzi that collapsed a few months after, that was called, I think, Gemcoin, if I recall correctly. So, well, she told me they were already using those keywords, like that Bitcoin was the the digital gold or whatever. I mean, back then, to me, that was probably a scam. So I said, I mean, I don't care about what you're reading me. Like, I truly don't care. I'm not going to pay attention to that, like, whatever. So,
right.
So, well, I really didn't give a fuck about it. So
I kind of heard about it, but didn't really think much about it. Like, okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, that was basically it. And it appeared that I read about Gemcoin a couple of years later, and it was actually Ponzi, but obviously it was not related to Bitcoin. You know, it was just a grifting project that was trying to capitalize on the first massive bull run, because I think there was a first massive run in 2013. That's also why the first big scams started to pop left and right. So okay, so we're going to move forward 3 years later. In late 2016, I was on a forum, financial forum, because I was already interested. I've been interested in markets, legacy markets, for more than 10 years now. I started by trading on a demo account, stocks, classic ones, you know. Then I put a little bit of money and I started trading a bit. Obviously, I was not making a lot of money because, I mean, I had a job. I wasn't paid well. So I was playing with what I could afford to. And 2016, I remember reading a topic from a guy, late 2016, from a guy that said, if I had 100K to invest right now, I would go all in into Ethereum.
Okay.
Then this topic, the title, everything, I started reading it and I was intrigued by it. And actually piqued my curiosity. I was like, damn, what is that? So I started researching it, and then I read about Bitcoin stuff. I started watching some videos of Andreas, and in the span of a few days, I decided to put way more money into the market, like probably more than half my net worth at the time. It was a couple K, but that was a lot of money to me. And I decided to invest first in Ethereum and then in Bitcoin too. And then the insane run that we know started in 2017. Mm-hmm. And so I started to write some altcoins. So that was a crazy ride. And yeah, I mean, in less than a year, I decided to go full time. And well, I never regret it. It completely changed my life.
You've been in a while. You're definitely like a long time in crypto.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not really an OG because I wasn't there for the first big cycle, but I've been there for a while now.
You've done it since 14. I mean, that's 8 years, right? I mean, that's a while.
16. So 16. Okay, but the first time I heard about Bitcoin was in 13. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But the thing is, back then I didn't pay attention, actually. Right. And also probably because it came from my mom, and I didn't trust my mom about tech stuff. So
right. I mean, like, a lot of times you're like, well, especially something that's so new like that. I think a lot of people, when they first heard about it, it was such a strange thing. So you're like, send something through, digital, like it just doesn't make sense. And it's interesting now because now it's like, obviously you do it all the time. This is what you do, and this is what I do. And, but I always feel like most people in our lives don't know what the heck it is, right? You talk about it, it's still like friends of mine are super smart. They don't know what the hell it is, and a lot of them don't want to know what it is. So I guess that brings it to when you look at, let's say, a couple of years down the road, what would you want to see? And this is just a general question, but what would you want to see adoption wise? What would you want to see amongst the public, amongst your friends? Like, how would you like to see crypto be received or talked about? Let's just say in 5 years. Let's give it that time, right? Because it takes
5 years on the road.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, what would you like to see? Like, just when you go in, it's accepted where you buy coffee, or people are sending it to you, transactionally. What would you like to see?
Yeah, I think, well, I actually use, I have a Crypto.com card that I use on a daily basis, but I would like crypto to be a little bit more mainstream. I mean, I would like to be able to pay with crypto anywhere I go. I would like it to be the norm, Right. So yeah, that would drive the adoption a little bit further. We would go the extra mile by doing that. But I would also like to see some industries using the blockchain technology a little bit more, especially the medical one, to keep your track record at the doc. Yeah, basically little by little, I think it's going to invade every possible field.
Yeah.
5 years in 5 years from now, I'm not sure we'll be there exactly, because it's actually slower than what I thought initially when I joined the space. I thought that by now we would have revolutionized the entire world, but it's slowing down a little bit, also probably because of legal reasons. I mean, we don't have a legal framework yet in Europe. It's kind of complicated to know where you're sitting right now. Tax wise, it's quite clear, but for the rest, it's completely unclear, So it's very complicated for a business to basically accept crypto and deal with the volatility or whatever. Even for now, some players like you trust that allowed a merchant to use a third party to receive a payment in crypto and have it converted back into fiat instantly. So basically, without noticing it, you get paid in crypto, and the money goes straight to your bank account in euros or whatever, in dollar. So this type of third parties are really useful for adoption. I think it's gonna be definitely a game changer for the years to come. So yeah, down the road, I would like to see more ways to use crypto. I mean, I would like to be able to buy a house with crypto. That would be awesome.
That would be great.
I was talking with a banker about that, and I mean, he was telling me that we could probably start using crypto as collaterals to buy a house. Really? And I was amazed that he told me that, because I didn't expect that from him. I mean, it's a small bank in Spain, and that was awesome. Yeah, but I mean, the market was higher than it is right now, obviously, but he was quite convinced that this would happen in a couple of years from now. So yeah, that would be another type of use case that would be amazing, especially for the long-term crypto holders, that have been accumulating crypto and can't do much with it right now because they are waiting for the right way to spend it. So yeah, this would be another use case I could see.
That would be very cool. Very nice to have that happen, bringing it into the real life. So, well, let me ask you a couple of personal questions I always like to ask. If you were going anywhere right now, if you have a plane shows up at your house and it's taking you somewhere for the weekend to go hang out, go have fun, bring the family, whatnot, what country would you go to?
Well, I'm in Belgium in my family right now. I'm visiting. So, well, I'm seeing lots of friends that I haven't seen in a long time because I live in Spain now. I've been living in Spain for the past 2 years. So yeah, I didn't have many occasions to see some friends, longtime friends. And that's basically what I'm gonna do for the rest of the year mostly, and we'll spend Christmas in family, and that's it. I'm not used. I don't go out quite often, to be honest, but I'm going to use this opportunity to change that a little bit in the coming days.
Nice. And like hobbies and stuff. When you're not doing crypto, what sort of stuff do you like to do?
Beside crypto.
Mm-hmm. I always ask people that, and people a lot of times are like, well, I do crypto 24 hours a day. Like, I get it totally same way. I mean, I like trying to get out there, exercise a little bit or whatnot, music, but do you have what else do you like to do?
I mean, crypto is draining. It's a draining industry because you have to, I mean, if you skip a single day, then you might miss an event, like, I don't know, an exchange collapse or whatever. That's crazy. So
well, I think it's kind of, this is the kind of the crazy thing is I think for a lot of us here, it's like crypto tends to be the hobby. And it's not that we don't do other things sometimes too, but it's like when you're in the, like the ones, especially like crypto Twitter, a lot of us that interact and stuff, and, been fortunate to meet some in real life and of course interacting with Twitter and stuff, but it's like, we do this all the time. So it's like, I might take time to do other stuff, but this is what I generally enjoy checking the markets, right? Seeing what's going on. I mean, like, there's never a dull day. There's always, it's never like there's a day where nothing happens. Like, this is almost the most, I hate to say drama film. Like, there's always something going on. It's better than any Netflix special.
No, I get you. I mean, I don't remember the last time I don't remember having a single day where I didn't check the market, opening an app just to check the prices or whatever. I mean, so at some point, like, I just opened the app once during the day and that's it. But I don't remember the last time I spent an entire week without checking the market. I don't think it has ever happened since I
think it's possible, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I have a couple normie friends, let's say, that from time to time they send me a piece of article about crypto, and actually the news is like 10 days old, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, but man, this happened 10 days ago. Like,
I know, you notice that,
but you're not I'm not learning anything from that, because this happened 10 days ago, and no, we are in a
but that's that's so funny you say that, because like my brother, which I appreciate, will send me articles from like the Main Street paper, and my dad will always call me or something, and it's always stuff that we found out, and while we're in, we found out like a week earlier. We're like, yes, we already know that, but I wanted to share it with you, but I'm like, yeah, we heard that a week ago. So I mean, we get breaking news first. There's no question about that. So. But cool, bro. Look, I appreciate you taking the time, man. I know you're busy. Thank you for giving me your time for this. And people want to find you. Where's the best place to find you?
Well, definitely Twitter. That's the only social media I use. I mean, I use Telegram, obviously, but it's more like for personal stuff or for the friends. But mostly Twitter, basically. So, yeah.
Okay. If they want to find you, just go on to Twitter and go find @TheCryptoMonk, and you're there. So cool. Well, look, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you for coming on the latest episode of the Big Dawg Crypto podcast.
Thanks for having me, Doc.
All right. Thank you, brother.
You've been listening to the Big Dawg Crypto podcast. Follow on Twitter @WoofBigDawg. Woof, Big DAWG. And run faster than the competition. Woof, woof.